Hi everyone, this is Bella. It's time for a new Jinky horoscope for December 21st. This is the day of the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere and the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. Here on the East Coast, it's going to be at 4:48 in the afternoon, and that's the chart that we're looking at here. Here we can see a lot of fire energy. We have both the moon and the sun in Sagittarius energy. We have Jupiter that just went into Aries, and Jupiter is a ruler of Sagittarius. Here there is a lot of this forward movement, the fire, the impulse, the initiative, the expansion, the belief that it can be even better. I feel that energy. It's a little bit maybe to the winter season, because we think that's when we go more inwards and where it's darker and shorter days. So maybe here we are speaking about a fire that's a lot on the inside, which will go hand in hand with Chiron, the hero's journey, and some of that inner alchemy where we get more of that feeling of self-esteem and self-assuredness. We see that there is a lot of energy in the earth signs. So we have some of these closer planets here, Venus and Mercury in Capricorn, and then we have the North Node and Uranus in Taurus. We have Pluto here on the cusp, and that's going to be accentuated further on in the week that the moon is going to be conjunct Pluto. I'll speak about that later in the week. But here there is this communication going on between Venus and Uranus. You can see there's a triangle, there's this blue line in between. And here it feels like they are speaking about what's closing out with a year, but also the moon cycle. Like every time before a new moon, what's closing out? Looking back at the last month, looking back at the last year. And Capricorn and Taurus is about the material plane, what we have built, what we have organized, what we have accomplished, the responsibilities that we took on if we were able to bring them to where we wanted. They are looking at, okay, reflecting what has been built, what was a success, and what is the foundation that now is created to build in the new year. I think that it has to do with values as well with Venus here. So what are we valuing in our relationships, in our life? What are the things that we're closing and moving away from? And what are the things that we want to keep and continue to build on? It does feel as well about your identity somehow with this hero's journey and this inner fire. Who have you been this year, and who do you want to be in the world? With Capricorn is really about that 10th sign, who people see you at, and is that going in hand with who you are. We have the sun in the 10.2, and they are both the natural. The 10th gene key or gate is all about that behavior of the self, being natural, being in self-love with yourself. And the second line is all about naturalness as well. So we have an accentration on what's natural, and is that aligned with who you are portraying yourself as in the world. So in some way, taking off the masks in order to move into the future, the new moon cycle, in a way that is even more authentic than what you have before. And then let's look at the Jinky chart for the same day. This is a 2-4 profile. The theme here has to do a lot with relationship and right relationship, like we said in the other chart, reevaluating relationships. I would say the main question here is who can love you for who you are. The 10 is naturalness. The second line is naturalness. When you show up in the world as who you just are naturally, who reflects that self-love back to you, that flow, that dance. You can see in the body graph is a reflector chart. If we just look at the black, it's completely a white chart. So it's definitely about that mirroring. What are people mirroring back to you? And who is there to value you, to see you, to love you? I think a very important theme with the second line is fulfill yourself first, because that's the way that you are stepping out of disappointment. When we have a second line evolution, we say step out of disappointment by fulfilling yourself first, because when you come out in your naturalness and your ease, that's also what you're going to attract in other people. Otherwise, the 15.2 here in the evolution can go to extremes, and this can be quite emotional extremes, is what I can see here with both the 6 and the 46. Can feel destabilizing. So really just tapping into that 2-4 profile. You tap into those relationships where it feels like a true mirroring, a true reciprocity. And also knowing that here for the solstice and for the whole period of the winter, the environment is actually the people around you more than anything else. So your core stability this winter is going to depend a lot upon who is around you. That's the 4th line. This is also important in the sense of the cross of the vessel of love. Being natural in love. Who are you naturally around? Who does your body feel relaxed around? This is contracted and serious in a low frequency. So when do you feel like your body is happy? When does it feel like it's breathing in sync with the other? Who are those people that you want to have as your environment? What's really powerful is that we see that the anchoring is in the 25 in love, whether that is self-love, universal love, or just the acceptance of what is. That's also the pearl, the law. So we're asked to be natural, but also see and accept maybe what's not for us. This is a theme that's here this week. And at the end of the year, doing that evaluation, I would say that's an evaluation with a heart. It's also logical to just see this is the reality. Am I tapping too much into potential, or am I seeing the reality here? But it's very much also the heart that evaluates. There can be some challenges this day, the 21st, in the winter season as well, in relationship where we feel misunderstood. Out of the 384 lines in the line companion, the 38.6, Ra call it misunderstandings. And it is part of the channel of struggle, right? What I feel here is that they're asking us to go deeper. We had last week the 47 in the SQ, now it's in the attraction. There is an opportunity to transmute some karma, integrate some karma, and take off the layers of oppression so we can be more ourselves, transform that disappointment in relationship into something new, into ecstasy even, as we are meeting life in every moment, breathing with the people that we love, dancing with the people that we love. Yes, definitely. It's part of that innocence and that ecstatic way that we have in the cross of the vessel of love. We're going to see that the 46 comes in even more later in the week. I also feel it's important to tap into our enthusiasm. We're going to see that as well later in the week in that position with the moon. Actually, it was maybe even this chart where we had the moon in the 9 and then the Mars in the 16. That would have to do with feeling into the places where we have inner inertia, and then tap into the places where we have true enthusiasm. And that goes together with being natural. What are you naturally enthusiastic about? And if you act from that, what's the energy signature of that? What does that create in the world when you act not from pushing yourself through resistance, but actually tuning into enthusiasm? This is a winter for us in the Northern Hemisphere when we are more internally oriented. And like I said, it's an internal fire that we were seeing as well in the sun and the moon here. The first line, core wound. What has been repressed? What's there? As you have maybe a little bit more alone time as well, that wants to come up, that wants to be expressed in the world so that you can be even more who you are, express even more of who you are, accept even more of who you are, whatever is there hidden. So a self-honesty with bring up all that you are. That's what this winter is asking for. Thank you so much for today, and bye for now.